When winning is the only option, the sharpest bettors in the world call me. Not because of what I know, but who I know. And the results, well, they speak for themselves. But talk is cheap, so let me show you. The Syndicate Insider Show starts now.
How many people did you have at the fight yesterday?
I had a good crowd. About 20, 25, my close friends.
Right. What'd you think of the fight?
I think out of all the events, UFC, boxing over the last decade, by far got my money's worth.
All right, we always say it's about the number. Let me move this camera here. Can you tell me what it says? The key numbers. What are the key numbers?
So obviously, the key numbers are 3 and 7.
Okay. People always say, "Oh, it's impossible to win both sides of the game." It's impossible to win both sides of the game. But when you're talking about a multiple of 3 and a multiple of 7, let's talk about the South Florida game. The wise guys came in early on the week. The line opened on South Florida at what?
At 19.
And closed at what?
At 21.
And what was the final?
42 to 22.
So if you played South Florida minus 19 early in the week, you were a winner. And if you played San Jose State plus 21 on game day, guess what? You were a winner. This is the strategy and the key strategy that makes professional bettors so much money. They're risking 1% to win 200%. How so? Simple. You're not buying these games to the number. You're catching the opener, and then you're hitting the close. The difference between the opener and the close, 12 games out of every 100 fall on that number. So you can't just willy-nilly bet every game that's a multiple of 3 or 7. You have to have your edge. But that's your edge. Your edge is you put up, listen, you're a wise guy because you won Mayweather and you laid 650 yesterday. Well, I'd rather lay 11,000 on South Florida and then 11,000 on San Jose State plus 21 and win both sides. I'm risking $1,000 to win 20,000. If you're a $100 bettor, you're betting 110, 110. You're risking $10 to win $200. I'm going to repeat that. You're risking $10 to win 200 because you can't lose both. You can only win both. Every day when you're sitting there and you've lost a game by 1 point or you won a game by 1 point, understand that the game, if you're playing on the day of the game, you're playing the closing number. Sharps for college football are going to be playing this Tuesday, this Wednesday, this Thursday, this Friday, for the games on Saturday. No one is looking at today only as the end-all, be-all. So, again, do you have anything to talk about regarding clients? We tried to explain this to a couple clients yesterday, and they go, wow, wow, wow. And then they say, well, just let me see how the regular plays go. What you're basically doing is you're saying, let me root with pom-poms. Rooting with pom-poms doesn't make anybody money. You're picking a side of a team, and you're hoping you get lucky and win. Again, I like those odds. 19 to 21, you say, well, oh, it's never going to hit the number. And then the final score is 42 to 22. Imagine if you had let's talk about NFL preseason. What if you had the Ravens yesterday? What was the line like?
The line was 4. They were up by 6, and they just took a safety at the end of the game for no apparent reason. Didn't matter. It had no relevance on the game itself. And they end up pushing when easily you had the win covered.
Well, again, it goes back to the difference between the open and the difference between the close. The game opened at 3.5, went to 4, and then closed at 3.5. So understand this. Sharps played the game at 3.5. The game went to 4, and they might have bought it to 4.5. Don't assume it pushed. It pushed if you are a one-directional pom-pom rooting bettor. But the guy that caught the open, which was 3.5, and the close, which was 4, maybe bought it to 4.5 because he thought that was good value. A key number is 4. So don't, because of the safety, a key number is, we say 3 and 7, but multiples of 4. The difference between 21 and 24 in a college football game, they're both key numbers. Because you got 3 touchdowns and a field goal, and then you just got 3 touchdowns. You have to understand the math of this game. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys-Oakland game. The game opened at 3, and it stuck at 3. So if you tried to middle that game, you probably lost juice because it landed on 4. 24-20. Let's talk about I'm looking for another opportunity in college. The Chargers. So here's an interesting game. The Rams opened up at +2.5. It went to 3, and then it flipped to the Chargers -1. The final score was Chargers 21-19. What's the difference there? 21-19. 19, 20, 21. 2 points. If you grabbed the Chargers +2.5 early in the week, and then you grabbed them +3, and then you grabbed the Chargers again -1, the same time, the same side, but the line flipping, you won all your wagers. You basically created a middle within, taking advantage of a line move. When you see these huge opens and then they close and they flip from favorite to dog, understand there's guys taking and capitalizing, because again, if you're not a handicapper but you're a statistical, mathematical advantage player, you're only playing against a number. You're not playing against the team. And you have a pain point. You say, if it crosses this number, I'm going to go and I'm going to switch to the other side. Now I know. Let's talk about the Denver Bronco game. The game opened up at 3 even. It stood on 3 even, and then right before game time it closed to 1.5. I don't like buying points, but on key numbers, if you actually bought that game, final score 20-17. Listen. More games fall near the number than are 50-point blowouts. This is a fact. This is why every wagering person in the world, gambler, thinks they have a shot. If every game you lost by 40 points, you would be dejected. You would say, I'm done with this. You would say it's unwinnable. But what happens is the psychology, you like to? Mm-hmm. The psychology is you almost won. And if you understand the difference between I almost won and losing is the same thing. You don't get paid for almost winning. It's no different than when a client would call up and he would say, you got lucky, you won that game. You win by 40 points, you win by 0.5 point, you make the same amount of money. Stop being one of those guys that's shaking his head saying, why me, why me? If they just would have not given up that safety, if they just would have hit that last touchdown, if they just wouldn't have missed that last field goal, I wouldn't have lost by 0.5 point or 1 point. Understand, if you're thinking about college football, next Saturday, you're going to make your wager Saturday morning. You can't, not only won't you win, you can't win chasing phony steam, because just because a line moves, you don't know who moved the line and why. What do we have going in? It's full bore in international soccer, correct?
Full board, all the seasons are rolling. UFA Champions League begins in the middle of September. So besides the natural leagues, all the actual, advancement tournaments are going on basically at the same time.
Now, when you look at college football as a whole, and I'm sitting here looking at the lines right now, all the lines are out. It doesn't mean that you go ahead and you bet them on a Sunday for the following week. But you have to be noted of games like on August 31st, Ohio State, Indiana. It's a key number of 21. You have to look at Central Florida, Florida International. It's a key number of 17. You have to look at Charlotte, Eastern Michigan. It's a key number of 14 on the openers. Also, the limits are very low this early. Boston College, Northern Illinois. It's a key number of 3. Northwestern Nevada. We've already made a play on that game. It's a key number of 24. LSU Brigham Young. LSU right now is -13, under a key number of 14. So then what you have to do is, then if you're a real sharp, you have to decide which way is that game going to go. Remember, you're risking 1% to win 200%. You want to have people on video talking about individual games and not understanding what it is to actually create wealth. I'm a wealth creator. I'm not a game advisor, if that makes any sense. I'm looking and I'm saying, if I can risk 1% to win 200%, and I can play LSU right now -13, and then they cross over to 14.5 or 15 on game day. This game isn't being played till September 2nd, and we're doing this video on August 27th. I have time to let that line move. the public, for the most part, is going to take favorites. The public are chalk bettors. And if you don't believe me, here's what happens. Perception is one of the beautiful things. We're talking about a game hitting a number, but people love blowouts. So if we talk about college football yesterday, most of the public is cocky. So what I mean by that is, yesterday there was 5 completed first games in college football. You think you're a wise guy because you laid 3 on Colorado State and they won 58-27. Easy to lay the chalk. You think you're a wise guy because you laid 29.5 on the Stanford game and they won 62-7. So understand, when you see those big blowouts, people obsess over the big disparity blowouts, and then they get cocky and think, well, it's easy to lay 30 in college football. Well, you tried that on a key number of 21 and you lost by 1 point. So if you're watching this video and you laid 21, knowing that the line opened up on 19 on South Florida, and again, we go back to it's hard to win on the road. So that was a road favorite. You're chasing steam. You're saying, I don't care that the line. It's like going to the store and this thing was on sale for $19 and you were 5 minutes late. Now it's 21 and you still buy it. I like to get things on sale. If I like the game at 21, I'll love the game at 19. And this goes back to, what if the line moves against you? This is one of the things I hear all the time. We played a game at -4, and now the line is -2. So you couldn't get the middle because the line went against you. Did the line go against you? You want to hear this stat yesterday on the fight? 17,000 tickets were written on McGregor in the state of Nevada through the Nevada Gaming Commission. 17,000 individual wagers were made. 1,500 bets were made on Mayweather. Smart money. So when a line goes down 2 points off of a number, you laid 4 and now it's -2. And you go, oh my God, I'm so worried the line went down. That's the McGregor side. That's the public pushing the line down. What am I going to do if I'm a wise guy and I thought I laid 4 and the line should be 6? What am I going to do? I'm going to bet more. It's on sale. If you bought a stock at $4 and it went down to $2 for no reason, no earnings, no injuries, nothing, no bad report, nothing, no bad financials, nothing, you buy more. You buy more. And so this is the difference between trading sports and the difference between betting on sports. Anything you want to add before we finish this video?
No, and then to add to all of this that we really didn't get into is second half wagering. Now that college is up and we're
playing. What was yesterday's game on that game?
Colorado State in the second half. It was even money. And we already had a play because we're here monitoring the games in real time. So as the season progresses and there's more games on a daily basis, just gives us more spot opportunities to take advantage of the game within the game.
The game within the game. So this is your report, the Sunday, August 27th, post-fight of the Century report. Now, what's the odds that he's in retirement and he says, I'm done. You got to remember, he made $350 million. He probably owes $200 million in taxes.
Give him another $350, I think he'll be out of retirement.
A lot of this was to pay Uncle Sam. So we'll leave this with, what's the odds when he was telling Stephen Smith yesterday, I'm done, tell him I'm done. I don't know.
Let him enjoy it for a couple weeks, and then there's going to be speculation.
Okay. The question is, are you done? Are you done with the insanity of betting on your own with an absence of trading sports, or are you strictly looking to get pom-poms? Because if you want pom-poms, like I say, go on Amazon, search pom-poms, and get your pom-poms out. This is your Sunday, August 27th, post-McGregor Mayweather fight of the century. I certainly didn't win $350 million on it because I'm not going to lay the chalk. I lost last night with the under 8.5 because that was the sharpest side to play. And if you listen to him in the post interviews, we'll close with that. He even said he was expecting around the 6th or the 7th or 8th round to work to after he let him punch him to take him out. It went longer than they actually expected. But the difference was I didn't lay 160. I went under 8.5. Minus 160, lost a little bit of vig on it, but again, it was a fun prop bet. It gave me interest to watch it. Obviously, once the 9th round came, I could care less because that's just how I roll. And Understand, big marquee events, you're going to get inflated odds. It's not where you're going to make the money. You're going to make the money in South Florida -19 and San Jose State +21. Good day and good luck. Call Mike. Let's get you on board. Make it a September to remember. And then it will probably be a December to remember, and a happy new year.